Hey there, welcome to Songs by Sid, Episode 4. I'm Sid, and this is my show about songs and songwriting, where I use a lot of my own songs to demonstrate some of the things that I'm talking about. Happy New Year to everyone. This is my first episode of 2021, and as I'm hoping to get 2021 off to a better start than 2020, let's get rolling with Episode 4 of Songs by Sid. On the morning of January 1st, I decided to start my new year by playing some piano warm-ups and some classical music that I used to play just to keep my fingers limber. I did that for about an hour. It felt great. And then I got this idea for a little riff. And it just came out. It's very simple, just arpeggios. I decided, what can I do with that? So I added suspension. And I said, let me play that a couple of times. This sort of came out of the exercises. I was playing a lot of fast finger exercises. So let me do something with that. I don't know why I heard these three notes. So I heard those notes, and I said, let me see if I can flesh that melody out a little bit. So I added a little bit to it. Played it in octaves up here, way up here, just to fill it out. Go up, second time, vary it a little bit. Then I went back to both hands playing in the arpeggios, down an octave from where I started. Repeat the melody, but this time I added some inner voice harmonies, like a chord here. So I've got the octaves, melody, and I've got this harmony of a sixth or a third, depending on which way you're looking at it. And then I brought the left hand down an octave. Same arpeggios. That same melody, but I had the inner harmonies. All right, so I wanted to fill it out, so I need to find a bridge. So I decided to go with the always handy 4 chord. So I went to it, the fourth. We're in D, so I went to G, A. I'm sorry, it's D. To D, and then minor 3. I'm going to change keys slightly, just for a second. And then I want to repeat that, but not the same, so I modulate it, but this time I modulate it down to F. Same exact pattern, just in a different key. So now I'm back to D, and I've got my octaves, and I add a big thundering low note. Now I needed some change, so let's change keys. And the best way I find to modulate is just to modulate without any warning. So we ended up in D, and we just go to F. Play the octaves in F. Back to D. Make it more gentle. the slow arpeggio. So that's basically how I took a riff and developed it into a whole song. After that, I did an orchestral mock-up, which is basically just to take a few orchestral instruments in a sequencer, sampled instruments, and assign them to some of the piano lines. And so give it a listen. I'm going to do a fuller orchestration, a better, more detailed orchestration. But this was just to sort of give me an idea of what I want it to sound like. I'm calling the piece 2021 because I started it 2021. To me, it sounds kind of hopeful. It sounds kind of upbeat. I'm hoping that it starts out a good year. So here's my orchestral mock-up of my new tune, 2021. No words, just music. In this edition of Trunk Songs, I'm going to play a song for you from my musical The Molly Maguires that isn't so much a trunk song, but a song that has been the same song in the same spot from the very beginning of the writing of the show, but a song which has been written and rewritten and changed and developed so that the core of the song is the same, but the outline has changed. The song actually started with this vamp. I wanted to write a song about coal miners and a day or a stretch of time in the life of the coal miners in this musical. So I started with this vamp. I was just playing around with a vamp, and then I came up with a melody to go along with that vamp, and then I fleshed out the melody, and that ended up being the song. The song is called Down Down. Just to let you know, there are sections in the middle of the song that actually were once intros to the song. They didn't work as an intro, but they actually worked in the middle of the song. And the song was originally a one-day song, and then we decided that to tell the story, we needed the song to last over a period of time, a couple of weeks. So if you listen to the song, you'll see there's a lot of dialogue in between. There's a number of segments, and the main character, McKenna, who's going to work in the mines as part of his undercover assignment, is growing more sympathetic with the miners as time goes on. So we use this one song to show passage of time and to show a change in the story. So here is the latest, hopefully the final version of Down Down from the musical The Molly Maguires.
Down, down, into the ground, into the fold, down, down, into the cold black cavern, down, down, crawling around, digging away, down, down, drinking in Satan's tavern, golden men, strong men, men with children, men with wives, trying to make a living till a living takes our lives. When we go down, 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 down. Any one of you want to crew with this here greenhorn? No. Carrigan.
Hey, I'm the one to pick who to stick with some dumb greenhorn.
Yeah? Now you're gonna do what I say. Everybody works it my way. Boy, oh.
Down here you do as I tell you. Tell him.
Down here, 3 rules. Never start a fight, it will waste good air. Take it up top where there's air to spare. Never make a shite where it might be found. Do it in the gob, then you scoop it in the ground. Cover up your lunch and bury it well, or all of them rats will come hunting that smell.
Rats? Them rats are your friends, you heed their call. If ever they go, you know they know that the roof is set to fall.
Fire!
No lollygagging.
Down, down.
Drag the rock in that room over to the mules. There's a foot of water in there. There's a wig squirrel too. So get a move on. And give them rats a cheery hello.
Down, down. When it's time to go, I hope and pray the angels in heaven come take me away. But today we gotta keep going down.
That's it! You've been cheating me each time!
This load is short. Take the car back and fill it.
That scale shows over a ton!
Cargo. Now we pay by the carload.
Since when?
Since we got new cars. 2 feet! These cars are bigger by 2 feet!
Anyway, this here's not coal. We ain't gonna sell no not coal. Boy. Kerrigan, your man here's a troublemaker. If you want to keep your job, you better get his lazy Irish ass back in the pit.
I'll put you in a pit, you bastard.
Never start a fight, it will waste good air. Take it up top where there's air to spare.
Down, down. Up every morning at the break of day to the dark of an empty sky. Up every morning at the break of day, every day to the day we die. Up half an hour for the roosters crow, cause we live for to fill that car. Up to the calling of the world below, you can bet that we won't get far. When we go down.
Hi-yo! Hi-yo! I found Dooley on the ground!
I smell flowers. Something smells like violets.
Violets, greenhorn smells violets.
Gas leak!
White
jump!
It's the white jump.
You there! Where do you think you're going?
Fresh air. Gotta get Dooley fresh air.
No chance! That lift is close to quitting time!
Open it. He's choking.
Here in this pit, it's my way. Anybody leaves gets no pay.
What are you doing? Lift, you lying bastard! You're choking down! What's wrong?
Open the lift! I'm taking Dooley up. Folks will tell of the man called Kerrigan, finest lad ever worked in a shaft. Knew his mate had to breathe fresh air again. Closed his eyes and he followed the draft. After years in his life of slavery, he was sacked for his act of bravery. They may scold him, but they couldn't hold him.
Down, down, into to the ground, into the pit. Down, down, down with your spit. Is charge cold. Down, 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 down. Sweat by the sound to pay for the time. Down, 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 down. With a pick and shovel strapped to your side. Pack up your lunch and what's left of your pride. Wave to your woman and hope that you see her again. When you go down, 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 down,
I'm excited to introduce a new segment into the show that I like to call the Toolbox. The Toolbox is going to be often about technology or other ways that you can communicate your music a little better. This time around, I'm going to talk about things you can use to write your music down. Some of you may know all of this, but it's just a quick refresher. I'm a big believer in writing your music down, music and lyrics, every note, every word. What that does is it forces you to make decisions. You go through a line, you decide if you want it to be the or that. Every single word, you write it down, you type it up, and then you're clear. You've made a decision. And the same with the notes. You write the notes down if you can. So I'm going to talk about the 3 most common ways of writing songs, from the basic to the more advanced. The most basic level is to write out a chord chart for your music. You can just write out the chords, you can put the lyrics under them, or you can just do a chord chart with no lyrics, and that basically tells someone what chords they can play, and it's the most basic level of communicating your song. The next level up from that is what is called a lead sheet, which is a written out melody line with the lyrics and or the chords on top of the lyrics. Now that sort of gives you the idea of how the melody flows and which chords go with which lyrics and which lyrics go with which notes. The most advanced way of writing out music is to do a full piano vocal part or an orchestration where you take the piano vocal and you apply it to different instruments. Piano vocal is a 3-line piece of music where you have the melody line with chords on top of it and lyrics underneath it, and then 2 lines of piano music. You could do a guitar vocal also. If you're a guitar player, you can write out a guitar part. But the 2 lines below are a more detailed version of the music. Now I use technology for all these kind of things. For chord charts, I use a really inexpensive software app called iReal Pro that lets you type in your own chords and lay them out and put repeats and directions on how the song goes. For lead sheets and for piano vocals, I use software called Finale. There are several other excellent types of software for doing these things. I happen to like Finale. I've used it for many years, and there's no point in me switching. The great thing about doing it with computers, you can do this the old-fashioned way and just write it out by hand. The great thing about doing it with computers is in iReal Pro and in Finale, you can transpose in seconds anything you've written. So in iReal Pro, if it's just chords, you can quickly transpose to another key if you have a singer who has a higher or lower voice than you've originally written it in. And the same thing with the lead sheets and the piano vocal charts. You can easily, quickly transpose to another key. I find that very important, especially if you're a person who doesn't have a lot of different chords at your disposal. If you tend to write in the same key, you're going to come across singers who can't sing in that key. So you want to be able to make the song sound good for any singer. The technology really helps you do that. So that's the first installment of the Toolbox, and we'll be visiting a lot more different types of tools and ways to communicate your music more clearly and more efficiently. My random thoughts for this time out are about how you have to sometimes stick with something for a while before you finally get it right. The song that I'm going to play in a minute originally started out as a very bad environmental song called Any Other Planet. And I don't know what I was thinking when I wrote it. It didn't make any sense. And I tried to sort of bring the planet to life and talk about how we were destroying it and blah, blah, blah. It didn't work. So I closed the file and moved on to some other things. And a few years later, I pulled it out and I said, maybe I should make it Any Other Woman. And at the time, I felt like it should be a breakup song. And so the lyric ended up being saying, any other woman would be better than you, which was also a bad idea. It didn't work at all. I closed the file and let it sit for another maybe 10 years. And then at some point I pulled it out and said, I kind of like this music. Let me play around with the Any Other Woman idea. Finally decided this time maybe it should be a positive song. Maybe Any Other Woman should be, I wouldn't want to be with any other woman but you. And so that's where I took it and I wrote several versions of the lyric and finally got the one that I think works best with this music. And here it is, version 3 of Any Other Woman, 20 years in the making. Any other woman would never see the things you see, but you find the ways to let me be, and you're bringing out the best in me all the while. Any other woman couldn't help me through my very worst day, but you know the perfect things to say, and you make my worries melt away with your smile. 'Cause you are who you are, like a bright and shining star. You light up every corner of my world. Any other woman wouldn't make it all a wonderful game, just wouldn't feel the same with any other woman but you. Any other woman could never be so warm and kind, couldn't handle all the everyday grind, help me get my peace of mind once again. Any other woman wouldn't kiss away my stress and strain, couldn't comfort me when I feel pain, stopping me from going insane now and then. 'Cause you give and you give, and you help me learn to live. You show me all the colors that I miss. Any other woman wouldn't make me feel like wanting to share. I couldn't never care for any other woman but you. Sometimes in the morning when I watch you as you sleep, I think about the promise that I made and I will keep, to love you for a lifetime, cherish you each day, keep you in my heart in every way, every way. You do what you do, it all feels so brand new. I know there's nothing more that I could need. Any other woman wouldn't be what I keep dreaming of. I've never felt this love for any other woman but you. Any other woman but you. And I'm going to follow that with another random song. Take my If you fall, I will come when you call. Take my hand, hold it tight. If it helps make things right, it's the best I can do. But it's there just for you. I could say the many ways I love you, but my words can only do so much. You will feel the many ways I love you when you need a sweet and gentle touch. Take my hand, don't let go. Catch your breath, nice and slow, as the world starts to spin. Don't give up, don't give in. You will feel the many ways I love you when you need a sweet and gentle touch. Take my hand, don't let go. Catch your breath, nice and slow, as the world starts to spin. Don't give up, don't give in. Take my hand, take my hand, take my hand. That's it for episode 4. I hope your 2021 is going great so far. You can catch my other episodes on YouTube. You can reach me or follow me on any of the other social media listed in the credits. I'd love to hear from you. I'm still building some of that stuff, so if it's not up when you go there, try back later. And I hope to see you next time on Songs by Sid.